Welcome to Season 3 of The Breakdown, the official podcast of the Breakaway Roping Journal and calfroping.com. This season, we're diving into both the breakaway and calf roping like never before, bringing you the personalities, successes, and horses that make these events great.
You can expect training tips from the top ropers, stories from the road, and industry news that goes beyond the numbers.
I'm Taylor Vollen, your calf roping host.
And I'm Lillian Kent, your breakaway host.
And this is The Breakdown.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Breakaway Breakdown. This is your host Lillian, and I don't know if you can tell, but I finally got the springtime sniffles that I feel like everyone's had, so apologies if the voice sounds a little different, but I wanted to bring you a really fun episode today with our two major winter rodeo champions thus far, an interview with Miss Josie Connor, the winner of Fort Worth, and Aspen Miller, the winner of San Antonio. Now, both of these interviews are super special. They're both a lot more casual and kind of off the cuff than a lot of the interviews. Josie's interview was literally taken as we were walking back up to watch Riley rope in Fort Worth. And then Aspen's was while I was on the road. So just kind of more casual than our interviews usually are for this podcast. And I figured you guys would enjoy the more laid back, kind of you're hanging out with this person type conversation. But before we jump in, I need to give a little shout out to today's episode sponsor, roping.com. The ultimate streaming experience for every roper can be found on roping.com, and I'll be telling you a little bit more about them during the break. It's time to rope. Let's go. All right. First out, you've had a really good time at this rodeo so far this year. Do you think anything's different? I know last year you didn't have the winter rodeo season that you were hoping for.
Yes, ma'am. Last year was the first time I rode Dutch in over a year, so we were just getting kind of back in the swing of things, and I had a lot of confidence, after the summer and after the year, the 2024 season. So had a lot of confidence coming into the buildings this year, and obviously Dutch makes it is a very big part of what I do, and a lot of my confidence stems from him. So I just try to do my job every time, first, last, in the middle, doesn't really matter. Just trying to do my deal and hope it's good enough.
Yeah, you really came out and put it on him, I guess. So being first out wasn't intimidating to you?
Well, this pin of calves that was in the final round, they were kind of none of them really started very sharp, and they kind of had like some freshness to them a little bit.
Okay.
So I honestly didn't think the semifinal round was going to be that fast, so I just was trying to, just get one down being first out, and I just hit the barrier and the throw was there. So
Perfect.
Took it.
And I was back there, Dutch, they threw on the lights and he was like, oh my goodness, and kind of flew backwards a few feet. Is he usually that kind of on the muscle before you rope, or is he, kind of tell me how he was feeling tonight?
Dutch knows when it's game time. Dutch is a winner. In the slats, he's calm, cool, and collected, but in the perfs, he's amped up and is ready to perform. He's a lot of horse. He's got a lot of motor. I've got to do perfect for our job to look good. And
yes.
So
I remember you saying he's a horse that might look easy, but he's not easy.
Yeah, well, I think we just have a really good partnership, and him and I as a team has really worked.
So what has your time and your practice looked like since we last saw you in Vegas?
I didn't really change too much up. Obviously Dutch stays exercised, and I have my old man Tonka. He's in perfect shape for a 19-year-old, but I don't really take him to the rodeos as much anymore, so he plays a different role now.
Is he like your practice guy?
Yeah. I hate to call him my practice horse. But I rode him about 5 to 7 a day on him when I'm at home, because it keeps him in shape, and it's the best practice I could get, because obviously he feels really good, and it feels really realistic when we practice and stuff. And so, that's what I've got. And then I bought the mare from Jordy Edens. I've had her since October or so, and I haven't really taken her anywhere yet, but I've just been having her at the house and trying to form a partnership with her too.
Remind me what her name is?
Judy,
okay.
Yeah. And so, it's hard because I'm going to ride Dutch everywhere. At home, it's just been keeping everybody in shape, keeping me ready.
Yeah. Well, kind of looking back to last year, I'm guessing you went into the NFBR with really big goals, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
How does this kind of solidify what I bet you have your eye on this year?
Yes, I had a really great season in 2024, the best season I've ever had in the pros. But I lost the world title by $3,000, and that's a little hard to swallow. And but I still had a lot of confidence coming into this year because I've seen what Dutch and I are capable of, and I've got really big goals for 2025. And this was a really great way to start it. Yeah, this was my second rodeo of 80. I went to Odessa before this, and I got the barrier, so I had no money on the board before here at Fort Worth, and I picked up, should be around 28,000 here, so should shoot
I wonder if they're
high.
doing ground money for the semi or the finals here.
I don't know. I asked the same. Tiata was down there. I didn't know. They might. I bet they do, honestly.
Go calling through the ground rules. So, okay, how cool is it to get the win here at Fort Worth? I mean, it's a cool rodeo.
This is a legendary rodeo. I mean, people who don't rodeo know about the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. So, like I said, it's really cool to win this bucket list rodeo and have a lot of confidence rolling into the rest of the buildings. I'll go to San Antonio next weekend on Friday and Saturday. So, rolling right into it.
Okay, perfect. Hey guys, I just need to take a quick break from today's episode to tell you a little bit about roping.com. Get unlimited access to roping.com's comprehensive tie-down, breakaway, and team roping video library and learn from world champions Caleb Schmidt and Shad Mayfield, as well as top trainers Logan Harkey and Justin Mass. Rope with legendary breakaway ropers like Larry DeGuy, Hope Thompson, and 2024 NFBR world champion Kelsey Domer. Plus, binge hundreds of hours of live and archived ropings, including the Cinch Timed Event Championship, the Patriot events, and more. Now, let's jump back into the episode. All right. So, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Big win in San Antonio. You and Jigsaw absolutely dominated the entire rodeo. Were you going in to San Antonio thinking, this is our setup, this is our thing?
You know, he's been doing great. It's definitely a faster setup. We had a great set of calves. He's been outstanding. It's a loud arena, and he handled it great, and I knew he would. And it's definitely his setup.
I love it. Kind of compare and contrast for me the difference between Fort Worth and San Antonio.
I would say Fort Worth, it's bigger, obviously. The start was a little different. They were out in front of you more at Fort Worth. You could still definitely be fast there, but at San Antonio, I felt like our calves were good, and we were able to, as long as they left in front of us, we were able to go, and it happens very fast there.
Okay. Well, and yeah, they have the concerts after the rodeo in San Antonio, and so the vibe is a little bit different. It's almost even more of an entertainment deal than Fort Worth is.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So, I think Lanham had the calves there at San Antonio. Tell me a little bit about your bracket runs. You were at the top of your bracket coming out of it, so.
Yes, ma'am. I honestly, personally feel like our bracket calves were the best set. I don't think any of them were terrible, but I do think ours were the best set. And I actually ended up running a calf from my bracket in my semis, and I had the same calf in the finals that I had in the semis. So I ran a red baldy majority of the time, and they were outstanding.
Yeah. So you're like, dear Red Baldy, would you like to come home with me?
No, it's actually funny. Shane actually ended up talking to Lanham afterwards and ended up buying the calf. And that way, in case I ever get discouraged, I can practice on him.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That's great. You'll have to name it something cute.
Yes. Which we think she's a heifer, so at least she'll be able to have some babies and
yes,
be a little bit of an investment.
Have a whole line of roping calves for you.
That's
okay.
Right.
There you go. So bought the winning calf of San Antonio. Gosh, You guys were sub 2 seconds a lot. I'm trying to remember what the fastest time at the rodeo was. It was at a 1:07?
1-6. Riley George went 1-6 in the
Okay.
third round of our bracket.
Of course she did.
Yes, she did. She's outstanding.
Yeah, her and Deputy and her head horse, Royce.
Yes,
So,
they do incredible.
yeah. Okay, so made it out of the bracket. Had to wait a second to come back, but Huntsville isn't too bad of a drive.
No, ma'am, it's only about 3.5 hours, and I actually ended up, after our bracket, I got in the truck with Brady Good, and we went to Tulsa for the American Contender round.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, how many entries did they end up having up there?
I want to say it was close to 150.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, they had about 150 girls up there.
Okay. So, like a really wolfy jackpot.
Yes, very wolfy. They were roping them fast over there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, so back to San Antonio. Talk to me about your semifinals run.
My semifinals run, I obviously got to watch the calf go 3 times already. Like I said, our set, there wasn't one calf that I didn't like. So when I saw that I draw him, I ended up calling Jill Tanner. She had him in the third round. She sent me her video, and I was definitely excited for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. And remind me your semi time.
I was a 1-9 in the semis.
Okay, okay. And how was Jigsaw feeling kind of in that building for the 4th time? You know, because sometimes they can get a little tight when they know what the deal is.
Well, I was a little worried. They ended up doing some sirens and stuff with the fire trucks prior to the breakaway, and we ended up standing in the hall, and they didn't let us back there. And then I was third out, and they were starting the breakaway as they were letting us in the back, and we were all kind of panicked and rushing because none of us were quite ready. But he gets a little nervous with the sounds, but when I back him in the corner, he doesn't flinch. He stayed consistent all week and the whole time there, and I couldn't be more pleased with him.
Yeah. And how old is he this year?
He is 8 this year.
Okay.
Yes, he's 8 this year.
Okay, still young for a rodeo horse.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you mentioned before we jumped on that last summer he got a ton of miles because he was the only one that you ended up taking.
Yes, ma'am. I remember I really started pushing him this time last year, and he had to handle a lot, which I do think that, putting the miles on him like that and making him have to come along, the good ones come along, and then others might not, but he did, and he's been rock solid since.
So then going to last night, hopefully you guys had a little more time to prepare back there.
Yes, ma'am, we did. Yeah, we walked back there earlier. They didn't have any acts or anything, just the presentation of the event winners, and so we got to walk back there. We watched some of the saddle bronc, and he was definitely a little nervous. He was prancing around, looking around, but he handled it absolutely great.
Yeah. And is he the first horse you've gotten from the LA Waters program?
Well, yes, ma'am. We bought another one along with him the same year.
Okay.
My dad heads on him. Shane heads on him a little bit. They've placed on him in the South Incentive down there in San Antonio. And I actually breakawayed on him a little bit 2 summers ago. I took him there for a little bit, and I won Gladewater on him and placed at Cleburne, and he's an athlete as well.
That's great. And you broke up a little bit. What was that horse's name?
Ironman.
Ironman. Oh, that's so cute. For the finals, you were
2-1. Yes,
2-1.
ma'am.
Okay. And San Antonio is a little different because it's done on high money.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you running the numbers in your head back there?
I try not to,
Okay.
but I was a little bit after I roped. I knew I needed to win no worse than second, but I had Riley George behind me, and she can get it done for sure. She ropes great. She ropes fast, and she had a great calf and she roped outstanding. She got the barrier, but she had me nervous for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary when they're really gunning for you and you're like, "Oh my gosh."
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about your past experiences at the winter run. Like, have you gotten a win like this before?
No, ma'am. This is probably my first big win. Um, especially at the winter rodeos. I've been to the semifinals at San Antonio before, but this is the first time advancing. 2 years ago, I didn't make it out of the wild card, but I won around at Fort Worth. I didn't have much luck at Houston last year, but
Hmm.
I'm excited for this year and get on a roll for sure.
Yeah, that's huge. And how did Fort Worth end up for you?
I ended up winning the second round in my bracket and advancing to the wild card, but I didn't have any luck in the wild card.
Okay, okay. Because I remember like seeing some like photos and stuff, so it's just kind of hard to keep track sometimes. But
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so yeah, that's so exciting. And I won St. Paul last year, put another feather in your cap for San Antonio. Tell
Yes,
me
ma'am.
what your game plan is for kind of the rest of the spring and the summer.
Just keep doing my job, keep using my calves, take it one calf at a time, and keep having fun while doing it. I love the sport. I love roping. I love the people involved in our sport. All the girls back there, clapping for each other, cheering for each other,
Hmm.
holding each other's horses for everybody's interviews. It doesn't get much better than that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I just plan to keep going this summer. I'm going to go with Tiata again. Her and I, we're real good friends. We travel good together. So I'm really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, and Tiana seems like such a sweetheart.
Oh, she's great. She is, right there in your corner at all times. Biggest fan, biggest cheerleader.
I love
She's
it.
great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you have some good momentum behind you. When are you up at Houston?
I'm up at Houston the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll have to get Jigsaw into the longer setup mentality for
Yes, ma'am.
for out there, but it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you get done this winter rodeo season and then the spring.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, if I have any more questions, I'll just shoot you a text. I really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Miss Josie Connor and Aspen Miller. I sure enjoyed talking to them and bringing a little behind the scenes to light as far as their winter rodeo wins. Make sure you stay hooked here at the Breakaway Breakdown as we head into the remainder of the winter rodeo season. We have Houston coming up, we have Austin coming up, and then we have really fun events like the BFI, the Patriot, and more all coming your way. So be sure to stay tuned to our socials, and we'll have some more podcasts coming out for you as well. Special thanks again to roping.com for supporting today's episode. Remember, you can join for a month or a year and watch on your computer, smartphone, or smart TV anywhere at any time. The ultimate streaming experience for every roper is at roping.com. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next episode.